Welcome back to another top-notch video, guys. This week we're going to be making the frog. So as you can see here, we have the frog pretty well done. I used a little bit lighter paper this week, and so let's get right into it. As always, you're going to need a note card, some construction paper, X-Acto knife, ruler, pizza cutter, pencil, marker, and some glue. So let's get into what makes this frog. To start off with, you're probably going to want to make a pattern. So what I usually do is I cut it out of paper first. The reason I cut it out of paper is I can cut the whole pattern out of paper and then I can make the folds, as you can see with each one of these here. So I start with paper on this one, and then what I move to is basically a note card, and I draw the frog on a note card. And the reason I draw it on the note card is so that when I have it drawn out, it's a pattern, I can continue to make the pattern over and over and over again. Also, this is a good example to let you guys kind of see where my folds are. As you can see, I have 3 folds in the foot here, and about 1, 2, 3, 4 folds in the back. Some of those folds, where they lined up, is the first fold is right there, right on the beginning of the feet, where the feet go into the body. Second fold is kind of like on the elbow there, and the third fold is down here on the foot. We also have a fold here from the back end foot all the way to the rear. 2 folds, basically how you fold that will determine how your frog's legs sit, as you can see right there. And then the last fold shows how much of the back you want exposed. So with some of these folds, my 2 folds on the back end were about, I'm sorry, not inches, centimeters. 1 centimeter apart. From the second fold to the third fold, it's 1.5 centimeters. Down from the foot to the bottom was about, to where my fold comes out, it's about 4.5 centimeters, all the way to the side here. And then down here, these are kind of just given, as you can see, these 3 folds here. I have a little bit of a head sticking out there, kind of a frog shape, and I'll go into how I made that. My gap in the center is not more than 1 centimeter all the way around, so just keep that in mind. And if you want your pattern bigger, you can always make it bigger. So with construction paper, you're going to want to fold that over. I picked green, how appropriate. And as you can see, with that crease is where you're going to want the back of the frog, and so that way he kind of can fold out, as you can see with mine here, right back here, where that crease is. So as I put him up, I'm going to try to draw this, and I'll show you guys. We're going to go in it together. So with drawing this frog, what you're going to want is at the very top, you're going to want to just come down at a little bit of an angle, and at that angle you want to come up just for his eye, like a bump almost, and then go back down. So it kind of looks like a half fish hook type thing, and then you're going to want to go into his nose. So his nose is going to look kind of like that out of your fish hook. So it's like a bigger fish hook on the fish hook, and then straight down into his throat. And once you get down into his throat, you're going to move it down into the leg. First leg comes down, and you're going to want to go into the foot. And the foot, you just want little ripples right here. Little tiny ripples, and you don't have to reflect those with your X-Acto knife, but you'll see what I mean. And then with the foot, I didn't do mine more than about 1.5 centimeters for the first part of the foot. And with the foot comes up, and then right here, you're going to want to go back across. So that's important. So as you can see up here, and then a straight, almost 90-degree angle up here. And then you're going to move into the body of this frog. And with this body, this is going to be that hole or that space, and then this is going to be the back leg here. So a little bump there, and then we move into the back foot, which is going to be a big, almost like flipper back foot. You're going to move up here, and you're just going to little indent here for the back foot. And then you're going to move into his rear. And the rear is just going to be kind of like, as you can see, he's kind of crouched, so just be aware of that. And then you're going to move up right here, back into the paper, and that is the cutout of your frog. Now with your lines, you want to do these ever so slightly. You might not get it right the first time, that's fine. You just kind of want to put a couple lines in here. Depending on where your lines are at is where the back of your frog will be. I know that that's a little too steep for mine, so I'm going to erase that and try again. From here, you're going to have two lines like a piece of pizza. They're going to go out into the back end of the frog. This will determine the leg position of your frog. This fold here from the bottom of the foot is going to be the bottom of the foot is going to come up, and then just three more. You're going to have one in the bottom of the foot here, one in the middle of the foot here, and one up here. Now mine was just a little bit, I'm going to redraw that just a tad. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are our folds. Now that we have our folds, we can go ahead and start cutting that out. So I'm going to start by cutting this out. It's important that you have an X-Acto knife that swivels a little bit to make these cuts. And we're going to go right into it. Make sure you put lots of pressure into this frog. Here's the little rivets for its toes. I'm not very good at these, so just be aware of that. Maybe you'd be better at it. Take all the time you need to be very good at cutting those out. This part's important here. Make sure you got good accuracy when you're cutting this corner. Sometimes it helps to come from both ways with one of these corners. I kind of just crisscross my toes best I can. Always make sure you see your line. That's important. Once you have it cut out, make sure you go to the back side. You retrace some of your lines. It should start to pop out if you put a lot of pressure in here. The one portion you're going to have issues with will probably be your toes, so just be aware of that. Like I said, I'm starting to struggle on the toes. So there you go, everything but the toes here. So there we go. You can discard the construction paper. As you can see, if I had the pattern down instead of free drawing it, I could have done that. Pretty good for drawing it though. It fits or matches pretty well for the most part. So the next thing we have is our lines here. As you can see, I drew my lines pretty clearly on this frog, so you can kind of see those. I'll put a ruler next to it so you can kind of get an idea. So from the frog, the top to bottom, I have about 6 inches, just a little under, 6 centimeters. And the fold lines here are at a ½ centimeter, 2 centimeters, 2 centimeters and a half, and 4.5 centimeters where they cross on my lines there. The next portion is taking your pizza cutter and going over these lines. Make sure you give it a good hard press, but not too hard to where you cut the lines. I try to go over them about twice. Then you want to move to your back side. You can kind of see where your lines are at and just hit those up again. Okay, so once we have that complete, we have our frog here, as you can see. You can erase these pencil marks. I'm going to leave them on for you guys. So the next portion is getting that 3D effect. So with that, you want to start with the back of the frog. There you can kind of see it take form there. Fold these ones up. Make sure you got them creased on both sides. Fold the next ones down. And then the foot out. Kind of give it a good pinch. And you can kind of see your frog take form there with its legs. The next portion is the upper legs. And the last portion is gluing. So you want to glue a little bit in here. Just a tad, just a little bit. And then the other portion you want to glue is up in the nose, just a tad, very, very little. Careful of your fingers. And then these arm portions here, you fold them up just a little bit, and this arm just down just a tad. And just squeeze it just a tad bit here. And that is your frog. And there you go, guys. That is the frog. If you like this project, go ahead and like, subscribe, or share. You can share it on a Facebook page. Really appreciate you guys watching. And you can write questions in the comments below. That's another top-notch video. We'll see you guys next time.